How's it going, guys? So today I have a really useful woodworking hack that I'm going to be showing you. So one thing that most of us find ourselves doing in any kind of project is gluing two pieces together along their edge. And this could be for a book match piece on like a really high-end project, or even just gluing two boards together in order to get a wider width. And what most of us run into is when we glue these two pieces together, instead of them being perfectly flat on the top, they're actually at an angle like this because when you glued the pieces together, they moved around. So what people end up doing to prevent that problem and that slipping is by going out and buying a tool such as the Festool Domino, and I think I have actually found a pretty simple solution to fix this problem. So you want to know what it is? Toothpicks. This was something that I thought of in the middle of the night, and I woke up and I'm like, oh man, I have to try that, and that is what brings me to this video. So I have a bunch of different colors here, and we'll actually use a different color. Let's go green. So I think there are some of you out there that are probably smart enough to figure out what we're gonna do here. So I have a couple of toothpicks, and I went with some green ones so that they stand out for you. So what we're gonna do is focus. So what we're gonna do is just cut off these two ends right here, the points, with a small saw. Actually, you know what? I think this would go a lot quicker. So now the next step is to just line the boards up, kind of like what you would do with one of those Festool Dominoes, and you would just line those edges up on a flat surface and put a mark to show where those two pieces would go. So our next step is trying to decide where we are going to insert these toothpicks. So to do that, we are just going to take our square and put it somewhere halfway in between this board. It doesn't have to be exact, it just has to be the same on both of the boards. So we can go somewhere right about there, and that's halfway, just about. So we can tighten that up, and then going on our mark right there, we can then put the square up to the board and mark it in line with the pencil mark that we made. And we can repeat that on all four parts. Just like that. So now we can drill these holes for the toothpicks into the boards. And what I've found for this is, if you can imagine that these toothpicks are almost like a screw or a nail, you want to go with a drill bit that is just under the size. And for the toothpicks that I have, it's about 7/64. You could probably go a little bit in between there and you'll be fine. And if you want, you can even rest the side of your square up against the board while you're drilling, and that could also ensure that you're drilling in a straight direction. Also, so that the toothpick doesn't go all the way through on one side, you want to make sure that your drill bit is half the length of your toothpick. So now we can do a bit of a dry fit before we put the glue in. So we can insert these right in there. And these were a pretty snug fit. You can see there that those are in there. And we just take the other piece, line those up. And there is no ridge on here. I just put this together and the pieces lined up. And that was because we used the square on one edge and made sure that it was the right distance on both boards. So it's actually perfect on both sides. So let me show you one more time. So I have one hooked in there back there, and I can put this in, squeeze these two together, and there's no ridge on either side, and it is just perfectly in line. I'll throw some glue on there and this should work. So we can just line these two pieces up. So I have this whole thing clamped up now, and you can see there is no ridge on either side. So we have our marks right there and also right there. So even though this was kind of small, I think the same thing would work for even a larger piece. I think if you added just a few more of the toothpicks in there, maybe spaced every 5 inches, 6 inches, whatever, I think that would actually work really well. So that is really it for this little hack. I think I'm going to use this in the future on a project. Maybe it's a cutting board, maybe it's a tabletop or whatever. This is a pretty common thing that someone would probably run into, and I think this is a great hack. Most people own a drill, or even a bit and brace could probably do it if you had a bit small enough. And toothpicks are probably $3 or $4 for maybe a pack of 100. I took these from my kitchen and I'm like, Mom, I need some toothpicks, and she's like, here you go. The main thing that holds that type of joint together is the glue. It's not a domino or a biscuit or any of those. It's the glue that holds the joint together. The glue can actually be stronger than the joint. If you were to break it apart, it would break, the wood would break first before the glue. So I think that actually says something about doing something like this. You know, you're never gonna know. It's hidden in there just like a biscuit or a domino, and no one's gonna know that you put a toothpick in there. So that is gonna be it for this quick little hack type video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know that there are many of you guys out there building all sorts of projects, and I think this can really help a lot of you guys who don't want to go out and spend $1,000 on a domino or a biscuit joiner or any of those. Most people have a drill, and I really do think that this is a good way to go. So if you enjoyed watching this video, I'd love to have you subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you could hit that like button, guys, I really would appreciate that. This is a really neat trick, and I know that some of you guys are gonna go out and do this in your shop. If you have a comment for me or a question about this little hack video, leave that down in the comments and I will try to get back to you. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this one, and I will see you guys in the next video.